The Fummins project is moving along quite nicely, and today's project is another huge step, and that step is building the custom fuel system. Now, it's such a big project that this may turn into be more than one video. We won't know till we get in there and start getting some work done. So welcome to the channel, and thanks for watching. Whether you're new here or a returning viewer, you're appreciated. So, I don't yet smell like diesel, so it's time to get in there, grab some tools, and take a bath in diesel fuel. Because isn't that usually what happens anytime you open the fuel system? But before that, I think I want to get the engine wiring harness installed before we put the fuel lines in the way. So let's get in there and get started. I wanted to go ahead and get the engine harness installed before too many more things were bolted on. Things like the fuel line. That way it's easier to get it on now. So I'm going to get this installed and then we'll move on to the fuel system. The oven's ready, so I'm gonna put the downpipe in. Set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
It's an absolute pleasure to work on the engine without the cab in the way. I wish it was easier to get that cab off of there. Not that it's terrible to do it, but it's not something I'd want to do all the time. But it sure makes working on the engine a lot easier. But now with that wiring harness installed, it's time to move on to the fuel system. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be some good and some bad, but I think overall this is going to be an amazing project. Let's start with getting that Ford stock high pressure fuel pump out of there. Well, it was nice I just sprayed diesel all over the floor. I love how every automotive connector has some different way to unplug it. Just can't come up with one standard and leave it alone. That monster is out of here. That thing has been a thorn in my side since I bought this truck. Always hated how you have to get to the filter. But now it's gone and I don't have to worry about it anymore. It looks like I'm gonna need to drop the tank to get the rest of these lines out. Let me get repositioned. Let me get repositioned and we'll get that knocked out. Well, I guess that was about as graceful as a ballerina wearing concrete dive fins while on a buttered stage. The tank was heavy, and the surprise really was that there was more fuel in there than I remembered. But I guess that's a bonus really at this point. So it seems that there's a lot more diesel in this tank than I remembered there to be. I hate siphoning fuel. Oh, it's gonna come out of there fast. We're gonna try it a different way so I don't. I'm gonna have to pay close attention because that can's gonna fill up really fast. Hopefully there's not more than 15 gallons in there. The tank was pretty crusty, so I decided to go ahead and pressure wash it to make it nicer to work on. Using a dead blow hammer and a wooden dowel, I released the retaining ring that holds the sending unit in. The tank is empty, the outside of it's clean, and the sending unit has been removed. And now we can get on to the exciting part and install the sump from Bean Machine. This does not go well. I'm buying a bigger fuel tank. Can't say I've ever drilled a hole in a perfectly good gas tank before. I heard that some of these were a little loose when you got them. Alright, now that we got that all squared away and tightened up, that is a thick tank. And I'm sure I dropped a bunch of crud down in there, but that's the hole we need. New blade on the deboring tool makes a big difference. That's a nice clean edge now. I think I'm going to take a little sandpaper to that. There's no question that I've dropped a lot of plastic down in there. But we will get that all flushed out momentarily. No seal, no O-ring, just like a glove, absolutely like a glove. Now I just got to figure out, I believe that it goes this way, and I got a strap that runs right through here. I think I might actually run it off to the side, but I'll figure that out in just a moment. So as you can see, I flipped the tank over on top of just a 5-gallon bucket, and of course my intent is to get all of the diesel fuel out of there. And as soon as I flipped it, it just started pouring out of there. So I guess I picked the right spot to drill the hole. So for whatever reason, I lost the audio in this section. I was using a new wireless transmitter, and I think either the batteries went dead or the thing just failed. I stopped using it after this because of this issue. Losing audio is terrible. So I'm definitely saying important things here though, because I keep pointing to the same parts. And anytime you point to the same part more than once, it's definitely important. So I'm really sad that I lost the audio for this portion, because I was excited to install this Beans Machine Sump, and I actually kind of talked through the whole process just, you know, to help out somebody else that was installing it. And of course now there's no audio, so it's really no help. The piece that goes inside they refer to as the Pac-Man piece. It's cut that way so that you can actually get it in from the outside. So if you were doing this with the tank still in the truck, working from the ground up, you'd be able to get that piece in, and gravity would kind of hold it in place, and you'd be able to screw this together. Being that I have the tank out upside down and in kind of a weird position, it wasn't really working for me. So I went back to my roots of working on the floor and sat down and just jammed my arm up through the sending unit hole and held the Pac-Man piece in from the inside. That allowed me to get the screw on, and it worked out a lot easier for me. It was a little bit of an awkward position, but once that Pac-Man piece fits into the hole, and it's stepped, so it doesn't go anywhere. So once you get it lined up, it stays there. It was a lot easier then to get the bolt started. And here I'm sure I'm just talking about clocking it properly for where your lines are going to go. Look like I'm really concentrating here. So I used to work on the floor all the time. I've gotten a lot better about actually working on raised horizontal surfaces instead of the floor. Getting too old to be on the floor. There I'm just kind of wiggling it to make sure that everything is seated properly into the hole in the tank. Oh, you know, there I just dropped the tool. Somebody's got a case of the dropsies. Time for the mighty Quinn to come out. Now, some people give me a hard time about using the torque wrench so much, but there's certain things that it's absolutely critical on. This piece would be so easy to over tighten or under tighten, and I didn't want any leaks. I trusted Beans Machines to know exactly the torque spec. click, or I guess in this case, beep. That ain't going anywhere. So these are the aluminum fuel fittings, and they stress very highly. Do not over torque these. Slightly tight is tight enough. I did follow that and nothing leaked. I did not have to go back and readjust any of this. But being that it's aluminum into aluminum, these will strip out so easily. So definitely pay attention and don't over tighten. Follow the directions on this. Still got a case of the dropsies. I oiled these up before I put them in, just to make sure that everything was well lubricated. So I'm just cleaning the oil off of them here. Finger tight should be good enough, right? Just kidding. Here's the wrench. And you see how large of a wrench that takes, so it would be very easy to over tighten those. I chose to do a single feed and top return, so that one I'm putting in is actually just a plug. I guess that was my that ain't going anywhere finger tap. So the bean sump is installed and good to go. And originally I didn't want to go with a sump because I was afraid it would catch on something and get torn off. But I seen a video over on their website and it actually showed them with an installed sump wailing it with a sledgehammer, and it never leaked through the whole thing. We still have to get the tank reinstalled, the AirDog pump and filter assembly mounted to the frame and wired, and then there's the plumbing. And there is a ton of fittings and quite a few feet of hose to install to make sure this system is right and worry-free for the future. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here. And the reason being is obviously there's still a lot to do with the fuel system, and I feel if I made it in one video, that video would be about 2 hours long. I can't release a video that long. Who do you think I am? Vice Grip Garage? Man, I love that channel. And while this is a great opportunity for you to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up, it's time for me to grab my bag, hit the road, and move on to my next adventure. Thanks for watching.